And it's To Be Fair, a podcast hosted by Ehryn and
Lisa, this guy.
She's super cool. um, and we are back for another fun, entertaining episode. This last episode was a little more like, we're going to give some social justice. And this episode, we are going to have some fun. So that's why Lisa's going to be in charge of this one because she's more fun. Facts. But I just wanted to kind of go over quickly that we, this last week was really awesome. We released a really special episode and very important message with a really awesome group of people that had the conversation that I've been struggling with, about Sister Act and like the community theater producing it the way they're doing. And I got a response email too from the Grand Rapids players, which personally I chose to think as it could have been they just were being, this is how it's going to be, we're going forward with it anyway. Or I felt like subtle, like they used the term resent in we resent anyone who would consider this racism. Like, I get it. I'm not coming at them trying to say that I think that the group of people, the Grand Rapids players, are racist. I'm worried that there's a blind racism happening. Like,
Right.
The whole fact that like we don't even realize that it's a problem until it is a problem.
That's normal.
So yeah.
Because you don't know until you know.
But we had that great conversation. And if you haven't seen that one yet and you're listening to this or seeing this episode, I highly recommend going back and checking out that one as well, because it was really a great conversation to have. And I'm very grateful for the people who joined us. And there's been a lot of interaction with everybody on the I'm sorry, I'm sounding echoey because I'm not near my microphone like normal.
We'll get it together.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, there, better. So anyway, there's what were you talking about?
I wasn't talking about anything. You were talking.
Yeah, there was so much interaction and people were like, like kind of sending messages about this last episode, and it was really nice to hear from the audience. So I'd really like to keep that going, so we are currently looking at a new way of doing our logo now that Lisa is not just like not the non-named co-host. We're actually going to make a new logo, change up the title a little bit here. And so we have some really fun ideas because Lisa and I are so obsessed with the 90s and the 80s, but we kind of stuck the 90s. We thought it was fun. We want to hear people's different 90s stereotypical photos, like the ones that make you laugh. Even some 80s would be fun. Like I really like those ones with the like shadow photo, like glamour shots where you see like the one silhouette or the one angle, but then you see that other angle right in the same photo that they've overlain into or laid over. I don't know how you say it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Or the big picture and then the little picture in the corner.
Yeah, and then it's usually like these simple poses, like she's telling me to wrap it up. But anyway, so I really want us to, go onto our Facebook, go onto our Instagram, even comment on our website or our YouTube underneath here, this video, give us some ideas of what you think would be really fun for us to do some photos of and to help our logo. And we'll give you shout outs as we think we're going to try them out. Okay. Other than that, I'm about to hand this one over to Lisa and she can introduce our guest as well.
Is it my turn?
It sure is.
Oh my God. I never thought it was going to happen. I thought for sure at the end of this, you're going to be like, I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
Oh.
So I don't know how I should introduce our guest as I don't really know her. So, but I know that her name is Janet, and everything that I've seen on her Facebook she's incredible. She makes the coolest things out of 3D printing. And Ehryn invited her because she has the same love of Halloween, I believe, as the other two of us do.
I think that's a lovely introduction, because with Janet, you just can't label her with just one hat. She's got so many. And so what she brings to the table is just a fantastic personality and amazing love for the topic that you are in charge of.
Halloween is every day. Should be anyways.
Yes.
To hell with the rest of the holidays. Halloween all the time.
Well, there's Christmas ween and
I love it.
I mean, this says it all. This says it all. Christmas and Halloween.
That's why I love that movie.
Oh my God, it's absolutely my favorite. I have committed 100% to that movie. I have a giant tattoo of it in one of my ribs.
Not that it's not acceptable to watch Halloween movies at Christmas time too, because it's 100% acceptable to watch Halloween movies any time of the year.
Right.
So,
yeah.
You don't usually get caught watching Christmas movies or listening to Christmas carols too often in July. Like people, you're just not going to do it.
Listen,
some people
I
to each their own.
A couple people that are. I know one person in particular that you and I both know, who will remain nameless, loves the Hallmark Christmas Channel. Loves it like I love Halloween. And yin and yang. This person and I, we are opposite. So I don't know about you guys, but I have loved Halloween ever since I was a little kid. My dad used to do really cool costumes for Halloween. And one year he decided to do like a bloody melted face using latex and cotton balls and fake blood. So he looked kind of like a burn victim. Okay. And he put on a mechanic's bibs, and when we got home, because he'd been scaring all the kids in the neighborhood, my sister took one look at him and was like, "That's not my dad. That's not my dad." Just traumatizing her, of course. I can't hear you. Oh, you didn't say anything. Sorry.
No.
So, sorry. I'm not used to having the reins of the horse. I'm used to being on the donkey behind, which is fine. So, I'm not very.
It's hard to just let you drive. It's really hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, I might Thelma and Louise us off a cliff. I don't know.
Do it. Do what you gotta do.
But it's a cliff about Halloween, so let's go.
Right. So I would die happy. Either that or I would go into some other dimension and it would still be fantastic. I looked up a few weird facts that I guess, I don't know, probably a lot of people know, but maybe some people don't know. Those are not my notes. I just Googled it. I mean, of course, most people will know that Halloween is All Hallows Eve or I don't know how to say it. Samhain, or I've seen it pronounced like Soonwen.
Soonwen.
And it's a Celtic. It actually started with the Celtics celebration, and that's when, of course, the veil between the living and the dead is at the thinnest. And so when they would celebrate these festivals, they would do animal sacrifice. They would they would leave their deceased loved ones' favorite food out, in case they got, hungry on the way out.
Yeah.
You never know. When you're passing through, when the veil is thin, you might need a little snacky snack. And I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, when they would sacrifice the animals, they would put the bones into a bone fire, which, as I was reading, is where we get the term bonfire. So that was kind of weird and kind of, like, who burns bones? Bones don't burn. At least not in my research. I was going to say experience, but that would sound terrible. In the 1500s is when it's documented that's when the costumes and going house to house started. So that's what been going on for 1,000 years. Okay, I'm bad at math. What
Sounds plausible.
Yeah, in 1745 was when it was first written in Christianity about Halloween. I don't know. I couldn't find anything about what it was called before that, but like I said, I'm a bit disorganized on my research. So yeah, I don't know. It's to me, it's interesting to look more into the history, and because I mean, what does Halloween really teach us? It teaches us that it's okay to take candy from strangers and from their houses. At least nowadays.
Do you ever see those like especially on Facebook when you're scrolling and people like to share those like photos from like olden timey days Halloweens?
Oh yeah, with the weird yeah, like
the weird masks they made. I mean, and how they had to make them. Like,
yeah, and
I
like
find them fascinating,
flower sack
but terrifying.
costumes. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100% old costumes are
Fascinating but terrifying.
Yeah, that's just like back then when you would die, they would take, if you could afford it, they would take your picture of you in your casket. And those pictures are just wild. You just see people in there. Kids ones always weird me out the most.
Kids are terrifying in general, but the olden times kids had to be really terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I don't know. I love Halloween. The lighting a pumpkin. Well, they used to use turnips. But when they came to America, they started using pumpkins because it was easier to carve them. And they put a candle in there to ward off hauntings and to guide spirits back to where they came from. And so if you didn't have a light or candle lit, then you were more susceptible to being haunted or inviting malevolent entities into your house. So make sure you light a candle, Erin. You don't need any more evil entities.
Would you light my candle?
I would.
Would you light my candle? So that's how Lisa.
What are you staring at?
We used to sing that at Builders on karaoke a lot
because we were in love.
We had this.
It was, but it was a forbidden love.
It was a love that was never gonna be.
Right.
But so we take it as it is.
Absolutely. Like, yeah. Acceptance. Radical acceptance.
Lisa and I have like been in each other's lives for a good many years.
Almost 20.
Yeah. We met in our early adult days, and she's one of the only people I don't think I've ever had actually any type of drama with. Like, we've usually been able, sometimes before this, we could like stop talking to each other for like 6 months to a year and then talk to each other again, and like no time had passed. Like, yeah, that's just the type of friendship we've had. And that's kind of how this podcast kind of came to be, was like, we like talking about weird stuff. So yeah, come listen to us. So I'm just going to help out here just a second. But Janet, I want to just hear what your thoughts on Halloween are, if Lisa doesn't mind me asking that.
No, that's where I was going, but.
Well, I always loved Halloween, but I loved it just as equally as Christmas for a very long time. I just love holidays in general until about 10 years ago. And then it kind of switched fully into Halloween, and even my Christmas decorations are Jack Skellington and Nightmare Before Christmas. Yes. So, but we love Halloween. We're the full-size candy bar house on our block.
Oh, you're popular.
Yeah, Janet makes a special trip to a big the distributing company over in Hibbing to get this.
Yes. And we don't just give to the littles, we give to the teenagers, and we have to pay our fees and no one eggs our house. Is what it is.
Well, and these days I think it's important to, let the teenagers trick or treat until whatever age they want to be, because if they're trick or treating, then they're not out egging and toilet papering or stealing cars.
That's why I've always given candy to anybody, and even parents. Like, I have teenagers, and like, I would rather have them out trick or treating than doing something that was not as great.
Let's talk. Can we talk on that for a little bit? Because I'd like to just mention the fact that I trick or treated all the way up until I was 18 years old in high school, senior in high school. I didn't care. It's just, why not? What was so wrong with it? I have to be an adult sometime. Why are you guys forcing me to grow up in my teenage years? Like,
right. And candy.
So yeah, I mean, free candy. I'm going out, I'm having fun, I'm expressing myself, I'm with friends. We're, as a teenager, we're not causing any trouble. Like, I don't see why some of us can't do that, without any, like, it's expected to go to Halloween parties as a teenager. I'm like, I wouldn't have been hanging out with anyone I went to school with. No offense to anyone now as adults, but just saying, back then I wouldn't have. I would have not willingly gone and hung out with them.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, I don't remember when I just stopped trick-or-treating. I mean, I remember trick-or-treating in the snowstorm in 91.
Yes, queen.
That was miserable.
It made me wish
800 feet of snow for a miniature candy bar.
It made me wish that I would have been Luke Skywalker and I needed a tauntaun to get like warm for Halloween.
I didn't really trick or treat much as a child. I think the one year that they let us go, my parents sent us around in a couple costumes. So we'd go home, they'd switch us costumes and send us back out for more candy.
We used to use pillowcases.
Yeah, we used pillowcases. But other than that, I didn't have much interaction with trick or treating as growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. So do all three of your kids still like to dress up though every year?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Fun.
I still don't know what I'm gonna be this year.
I'm just making it easy on myself. I really wanted to be Agatha Harkness from WandaVision.
Oh my.
So Janet might not really know. No.
I might not really know either. I just like to act like I do.
Bummer, man. That's a bummer.
I'm gonna be Sally again.
You were Sally before?
Last year, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
I guess I haven't got to see you for Halloween now a couple years, so.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I was going trick-or-treating with my nephew, who is the absolute love of my life. I think he was Iron Man, and I didn't have a costume, and he's like, Auntie, where's your costume? And I had the Jack Skellington onesie from Walmart, and so I threw that on, and boom, I was Jack Skellington. Because it came, it had the hood that came up. And so, yeah, I mean, Halloween is just come as you are at night.
I
think
that's what I like about Halloween the most is you can be whatever you want and no one's going to judge you for, like, if I wanted to wear a full Victorian ball gown, that they'd just be like, hey, it's Halloween, rather than, hey, that's just Janet.
Right. And yeah, I would. One of my favorite things about Halloween is makeup. What are you guys' thoughts on Halloween makeup?
I'm not really good at makeup myself, so it's like really tough.
Yeah. I enjoy makeup. I just am not great at putting it on.
Yeah. Like, if I could afford to have like a professional makeup artist for Halloween, I would do it. So once I'm rich and famous and we're going to like the big, Halloween shindigs and stuff, Lisa.
Sure.
Then we'll hire people to, style us for
special
Halloween.
effects artists.
My
sister is really good at it. I give her a lot of credit. We use liquid latex a lot.
Okay.
And because we all like to be gory in my circle. There's no little Bo Peep. It'd be, I don't know,
It'd
probably
be
a
zombie Little Bo
be
Peep
a
in your
sheep on the staff. It'd be skewered, and
yeah, instead of the it being Bo Peep with her crook, she'd have like a reaper instead.
yes, and a sheep's head in the other hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Janet's kind of people.
Yes. I mean, I don't know. I've always had a love for the horror. And I mean, Erin, what's your favorite horror franchise?
Oh wow. Well,
I mean, you can
yeah,
have more than one, but
okay. So I'm gonna tell you that I have a guilty pleasure one. And there's lots of trauma to it, but I really like the Hellraiser
oh,
stories.
sure.
Like
Yeah.
the psychological part of the hell and everything about it all. I'm fascinated by. However, it terrifies me and I'm traumatized from watching one of them way too young.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I'd have to say the Scream movie franchise is really like my all-time favorite.
Okay. Um,
So I'm
Clive Barker,
excited for the new movie.
just to touch back on the Hellraiser, Clive Barker is one of the most gruesome authors that I've read.
Mhm.
If you like Twisted and just, I mean, he created Pinhead,
Yeah.
that.
Did you see that they're doing a new version of the Hellraiser stories and it's a female Pinhead now?
No, and I think that's fantastic because I think
Mhm.
women are way better at torture than men.
I think that's kind of the direction they're going for this. Like,
Yeah.
Janet, who do you like the Hellraiser movies?
I don't think I've ever seen them.
It's with Pinhead and the Cenobites, and it's basically you're selling your soul.
And there's the puzzle box.
And yeah, it's Pandora's
I
box.
don't.
Basically.
I don't remember that.
Do you have a horror franchise that you favor?
I like Halloween, but I think my favorite horror type movie would be 13 Ghosts.
Oh,
Ooh.
that movie is the best. Matthew Lillard
Mhm.
is such a dreamboat.
I'm so speaking of Scream though, the new movie is coming out. It's just
Mhm.
called Scream again, like, but it's technically Scream 5. And I'm a little sad because the trailer gave away something, and I don't know what purpose that serves to give away that too soon. But it gave away that allegedly this killer in this movie is going after the people who are related to Billy and Stu from the first movie.
That's weird.
The
What a
killers.
twist.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's more to it, because if there's one thing I've noticed with Scream movies is do not expect that the ending is the ending. There's going to be a plot twist.
Right.
I loved Scream 2 when it was Billy's mother, and that was
That was
Laurie Metcalf.
very indicative of um oh my
Friday
god.
the 13th.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, that was
The first
kind of supposed to be a
Friday the
little nod to that, I think.
Yeah.
Because Wes Craven was like basically giving a nod to all like the horror franchises that he worked on his way, up to. And then, he had Freddy Krueger. That's a good franchise. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Did you ever watch the remake?
I did.
And what were your thoughts?
I didn't like it. Now, I don't
Robert
know.
Englund is Freddy Krueger.
But I went into it, I think, with that preconceived notion of what Freddy Krueger should look like, how he should act. In this one, I don't know, he just
it looked too fake.
Right. The original the original Nightmare on Elm Street movies, he looked like what he was supposed to look like they burned him alive.
Yeah.
This one, his face was just all like stretched, like he had too much plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And it didn't do it for me. But then again, my brain is used to what it's used to seeing.
I really liked when the Nightmare on Elm Street movies went really full on camp with the Dream Warriors movie.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Oh my God.
It's so good. That one, and guilty pleasure. I know a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people have their opinions, but I loved Freddy versus Jason.
Oh my God, yes. Oh yes. Didn't I see that with you?
I don't know. It's possible. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
I think most of the Halloween movies I like are more cutesy, like Hocus Pocus or Ernest, the Ernest movies. Those were
Ernest
big
Scared
growing up.
Stupid. Ernest, that was a
Yes.
terrifying movie to me as it was. Like, I'm like, oh my God, what if a troll turns me into a little wooden doll?
Right?
Like, that was a terrifying notion as a kid to see that movie. I was like, because we grew up with Ernest. Like, Ernest was like freaking amazing. And so Ernest Scared Stupid was such a great movie.
Yes,
Oh,
I wish I could find it on DVD now because I just love that movie as a kid. And it's probably the reason why I like fantasy so much now. Well,
Oh, and
Halloween's responsible for that.
Eartha Kitt was in that movie.
Really?
She was the crazy lady that was like mad, like don't go messing around and stuff like that. And then it ended up being that she had lost family to that troll. We could talk about this movie forever, but Hocus Pocus, yeah, like you said.
I feel
But
like
then
you're just reading it off your screen.
me?
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, I like Hocus Pocus.
No, I do. I love Practical Magic. Like
Oh my
I
God,
I
practical.
really enjoy the feel good Halloween movies. And I mean, we grew up watching The Great Pumpkin.
Yep.
And I like the wholesome part of Halloween as well as,
Do you know, speaking
macabre.
of that, speaking of that, I think there's a whole well around Halloween, how it's not just a thing that like your hardcore Christians are gonna make, it's a satanic holiday. It's not about that. There's something,
And
it's another one of those suspend your disbeliefs. It's one of those just like have fun, be scared a little for fun, thrilling, and it's come together and do something just this as important as 4th of July is, it's a thing, it's for our culture.
mm-hmm.
Do with it how you choose to do it, but celebrate your way. It doesn't matter if you choose that you're not going to participate in the going out to trick or treat.
Right.
Just don't ruin it for other people. They're not going out to hurt you. I mean, yes, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are unfortunately going to break the law on Halloween, because
Well,
that's another problem.
but that's any day.
But where I was going to go is the 90s and the 80s and 90s had so many not only great movies that came out for Halloween, but I liked a lot of our TV shows that we watched in their Halloween themed episodes, like Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
Like how Buffy would celebrate. Like the second season was their first time they got to do Halloween, and like that episode was the costumes that they rented for the night were all cursed.
Right. Except for, like Willow's a ghost, so
yeah, so like
she looks like a ghost that was a hooker.
Yeah. And Buffy turned into like a damsel.
Can you imagine if that happened in our reality?
Oh my God.
What would you be? What would you turn into?
A dinosaur.
Yes. What kind?
T-Rex. That's the costume I have.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Like,
but
you
like
have like, I don't know. Can you imagine turning into your costume and having the cognition, or like the still being who you are on the inside? So being a dinosaur, but being you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Like you turn into your costume, but you still get to keep your personality.
Right.
That'd make damning difficult, but it could happen.
And then there's and then there was like Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Like I liked all the little Halloween fun episodes in that one too. That whole series was just a nonstop like fun Halloween, because I mean it was witches and
it was like
fun witches. And oh my God, Charmed. Now, Lisa, you weren't into Charmed as much, were you?
I wasn't. No, I'm not really a Charmed. I mean, I've watched a lot of it, but I didn't watch it, week to
Like
week.
Buffy,
Didn't follow it week to
Buffy
week.
style.
Right.
Yeah. I
Um,
I enjoyed Charmed, but I felt like Charmed was just they were making the demon hunters sexy. Buffy, they had their own like sexy way of telling the story for Buffy, but like it was Alyssa Milano, Shannon Doherty, and Holly Marie Combs, mostly like cleavagey most of the time.
right. Which,
you know, it
yeah,
was,
whatever.
but I mean, I still liked it. One of my favorite episodes of Charmed was when they had Jenny McCarthy, and these two other blondes that were in. It was just a silly episode. They were like these witches that like were just annoyances to the magical community, and they were like trying to get the Book of Shadows and the Power of Three, and it was just a silly episode. Anyway, how about you?
Oh yeah, I loved it. There was that one Scooby-Doo movie where they go to an island, and I love that movie.
That's the first live action Scooby-Doo movie. Yeah, when they go to that lion and Scrappy is the
Yeah.
bad guy. Yeah, that's the movie they made first. And
Scrappy
then
can get
this
shot and be gone.
puppy power. That's so funny because you threw something and in the shape that the screen is, it looks like you threw it at me.
Awesome. Quit lipping off.
Okay. Your face, Lisa. Like, you got serious face on right now. She muted herself.
Whoops.
I don't think that was intentional.
Right? Like, okay, universe, I get it. I really like that Halloween helps. I don't know. For me, it's people are more accepting of like the afterlife.
Mhm.
Even if just for one day, everybody kind of in their own way, accepts that I don't know what I'm trying to say. Nobody is considered weird for believing in the otherworldly stuff, at least not in my experience. I think that people who celebrate Halloween sometimes dabble in some bad mojo that they should not. Seances, I don't know. Ouija boards. Anybody, what do you guys think of Ouija boards?
We talked about this last night, didn't we? In our
Yeah,
I'm
because
like,
my son wants to buy a Ouija board and bring it to my house.
and
And
I was like, you don't want to be doing none of that. Not
no.
unless you have like a really well like educated witch, probably.
He's just,
That's my stance too.
yeah,
What?
like you don't bring that into the house.
Yeah, just like it was something that you should be well educated, well thought out, and you're not just inviting whatever
Yeah.
may come into your home.
I did that as a kid. A girlfriend of mine and I were at her dad's and we were screwing around with the Ouija board and some weird stuff started to happen. Like the phone would ring and it would just be like this weird growling on the other end. Stuff was moving by itself. There was somebody, we watched something like walk by outside the window. And like I get goosebumps talking about it. People are always really skeptical with me about it, but I'm like, I know what I saw. I know what I heard. And that experience as a teenager still didn't deter me from messing around with it. My cousins and I made our own Ouija board, and I don't care what my skeptic friends say, you can easily make a Ouija board. And
I have a mold for a Ouija board over here with
do you?
resin, but
Ugh.
I don't use it per se. That was one of the molds I learned how to play with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I just think that people don't understand that you really can unintentionally invite very malevolent energies into your house. And he just thinks about the cool, fun, oh, cool, I'm cool, I got a Ouija board. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we were his age
not
too.
today,
Like,
Satan.
yeah, but I mean, we were his age too, and at that time, we
I know.
we
I
didn't
know.
think the way we know now. Like, girl, I've heard too many stories about, and I can honestly say I don't think I've ever done anything with a Ouija board. Like,
Don't.
no, but I know that I've always found it interesting, intriguing, but I've never found it to the point where I'm actually going to go actually mess around with that without knowing
Right.
exactly how to navigate one of those things.
Always close the board. Always say goodbye.
Yeah, people don't realize that it's like leaving a phone line just like going
Right.
without if you don't hang it up.
Mm-hmm.
So the spirits is still connected.
Yes, very. I've seen way too many weird things to not believe that there are lots of things among us. And anybody got favorite candy for Halloween? Just get down to some basics.
I always like Reese's pumpkins.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
really like candy,
That's fair.
but I'll eat candy corn.
I actually
What?
I don't hate candy corn. I just think that sometimes I overdo it.
I won't
I
eat
hate-
chocolate at all. Chocolate's gross, but I'll have candy corn. A couple pieces. I don't want too much.
Her children did not follow suit, by the way, in that whole thing. Like, her children love the chocolate.
Yeah, I like dark
Legit.
chocolate. I mean, I like
So does
chocolate,
Chloe.
but dark chocolate's the best. I loved always like the colored Tootsie Rolls when I was a kid. Like they had vanilla and orange and lime, and those were lots of fun for me.
My kids fight over the pumpkins too, Erin. The Reese's.
Well, I mean, Reese's, it's really, I mean,
It's
if
Reese's.
somebody,
How can you go wrong?
yeah, I don't think you ever have to add that to it's your favorite candy list, because that's like everybody's favorite candy list. Even people who can't enjoy them want to enjoy them.
Right.
Like the people with them
Gross.
peanut allergies. I'm sorry, people.
Right. I'm sorry for the life you have to live.
Yeah, like I can't imagine that kind of hell.
I think the only candy bar that I like though are 100 grams. That's because they have the littlest amount of chocolate.
I
Yeah.
like my favorite candy bar is a salted nut roll. There's no chocolate.
Yeah, you like that salted nut roll.
Oh, I do. It's the most delish. I know you're making fun of me, but whatever.
I'm not making fun of you.
You are always making fun of me.
Not today, Satan.
What?
My kiddo just asked for a ride home.
So
That's all right.
yeah, but I feel like we're kind of getting to an end of this episode.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of milking it.
I don't know. I think for me, like the turning point for me liking Halloween is as I lost my grandma around this time of the year, and we had her funeral on Halloween, and I think that was the turning point for me, where it's kind of like the way I honor her every year by just putting the good, because she was a very wonderful human being, and so putting the good naturedness back into what I can use in Halloween spirit.
That's awesome.
I like it.
So you want real quick, one more quick little tidbit. 10 famous people who died on Halloween. Harry Houdini. What? River Phoenix.
I didn't know that was on Halloween. Wow.
Yeah. Indira Gandhi.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's the only Gandhi. I don't know who these people are. Natalie Babbitt, Theodore Sorensen, P.W. Botha. But I just thought the first three, Harry Houdini, that couldn't have been more appropriate, I guess.
Like if I'm gonna go, I want it to be on Halloween.
For sure. Yes. But like I wanted to go on Halloween, but I don't want it to ruin the holiday for the people that you know, that I love.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the other ones are like Italian filmmakers and stuff. But anyways, those are my last fun facts for the day. I mean, for the episode.
I just want to remind people that if you're still listening to this episode or watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that little like button right below there and, share this if you can. Give us some comments. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you're thinking about us doing for some new promotional stuff. We want to hear from you, the listener.
Wow, that was very like, you drew that out very well.
Thank you.
There were lots of dots behind it. I could see it. All right. Well, if you're still listening, and I hope you are, like, I almost called you Houston. Like Ehryn said, like, subscribe, share, go to our website, which I can't think of at the top of my head. To be fair, www.tobefairpodcast.com. There's merch too. Go buy Ehryn, put his face on your butt. There's leggings. I gotta get a pair of leggings.
Oh yeah, we'll have to have new merch once we redo things. That'll be fun.
Nobody wants me on their butt. It's
oh
weird.
My gosh, everybody wants you on their butt.
Well, if
So
you
now
need a
that I've
laser, if you need a laser engraved ornaments, like
that would work.
I'm your lady.
All right. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. But all right, well, until next time.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.